The FBI's New York office is sending a memo to local police departments because there's some evidence indicating that white supremacists are encouraging people who have tested positive for COVID-19 to target certain individuals and spread the virus. These are the types of disgusting lunatics that we're dealing with in this country. So from the memo, it reads, members of extremist groups are encouraging one another to spread the virus if contracted through bodily fluids and personal interactions. According to ABC News, the FBI alert told local police agencies that extremists want their followers to try to use spray bottles to spread bodily fluids to cops on the street. The extremists are also directing followers to spread the disease to Jews by going any place they may be congregated, to include markets, political offices, businesses, and places of worship. Look, we're hearing more and more stories about people who are breaking quarantine guidelines or rules, and they're being hit with fines. If someone is found guilty of actually doing this, of intentionally spreading this virus to anyone, including cops and members of the Jewish community, they need to be prosecuted criminally, period.
Yeah, that's not even close.
Yeah.
No question about it. So let's break this down. Number one, if Black Lives Matter, any one person in that movement had written a statement about how, hey, if you get coronavirus, you make sure you capture your bodily fluids and try to kill cops with it, it would be news 24/7 on Fox News. Everybody knows that. That's a guarantee. And then it would be news 24/7 everywhere else, because Fox would never let it go, and people would say it's a giant story. And maybe you should be, because that's so important. And if a Muslim group decided to terrorize us with COVID-19 by doing something similar, headline news 24/7, and you know it. White supremacists plan to do it. God bless ABC News. We always give credit where credit is due. The ABC covered it, and they got the internal memo on it. Of course, as always, Southern Poverty Law Center tracking these extremists. They do wonderful work, but it's a blip, and then it goes away. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. White supremacists try to kill cops. Is that a thing that people know? Is that like a stereotype? Oh, white extremists hate cops? I bet you if you asked, 99% of Americans don't know that at all, because those stories never, ever get covered. If you said, who hates cops more, black extremists or white extremists, I can actually show you dozens of crimes where white extremists actually killed cops. So there's actually a factual answer to that, right, of who attacks cops more. Yes, there's been some black extremists not connected to Black Lives Matter that did it as well, but dozens more on the white extremist side. But nobody thinks that, because the media, if there's any story of someone who's black, Muslim, minority that goes after cops, makes a giant deal out of it. And I understand that. But whenever it's white nationalists, those are good white people. We don't want to offend our viewers who are white and give us ratings, so we're not going to do that. On the other hand, they get so scared of black people and Muslim people, that also helps our ratings. So that one we hype up like crazy. So that it drives me nuts. If everybody did give it fair coverage, then we would be happy to talk about that. Now, second part of this story, they always target Jewish Americans. So
Always.
At the end of every conspiracy theory is the Jews did it. So, and look, this is why I got so much out of the two conversations I had with two lunatics, David Duke and Alex Jones. So I did this years ago, and in both cases, you go all the way down the rabbit hole. You ask them over and over and over again, yeah, but what's the real problem? What's the real problem? With David Duke, it doesn't take much. He just tells you. It's just like, oh, it's the Jews, right? And so, because they don't actually think Latinos run the world. They don't think that the person who's an immigrant across the border without a dollar actually controls the world. They think Jews control the world. Now, that isn't remotely true, obviously. But they particularly target Jews when things get really bad, because that's when people are most animated, most upset, and most looking for a scapegoat, someone who secretly did it, and boom, every time fill in. And and as much as they hate Muslims, it's not Muslims either. It's the Jews who, and then of course in their conspiracy theories tracked by the Southern Poverty Law Center, these white nationalists say, oh yeah, they invented it in a lab, they're trying to kill us all. None of it makes any sense. I remember in this case with Alex Jones, he didn't say Jewish Americans. But when we got to the end of the rabbit hole in that interview I did with him 8 years ago or something on his show, he said, oh yeah, then the elites killed 90% of us because they care about money. I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. How would they make money if they kill 90% of us? But it doesn't have to make sense because they're lunatics. So I hope to God that none of these guys actually carry any of this out. But the FBI said in the ABC News story, we give this to local law enforcement because we have enough information to let them know it's real and they should look out for it.